Well, for the first time in school history, ESPN's College Game Day was on site for an Oregon State game as the Beavers tried to take down number 3 Boise State. The game of the week in college football on the blue turf, where Chris Peterson has never lost as coach of the Broncos. You see the record there on the shirt. Boise would virtually have no chance at a national title shot without the win over Oregon State. Opening drive, Peterson goes into the bag of tricks. Kellen Moore, the pitch to Austin Pettis, 6-yard pass to Tommy Gallarda. These guys have been there forever. 7-zip Broncos, but the Beavers possess one of the best return men in the country. James Rogers weaves his way, 54-yard punt return when all is said and done, as he weaves his way through the Boise State defense, blue on blue there, but he finds his way through. The first punt return of his career, first for the Beavers since Sammy Stroughter in 06, game tied at 7. Second quarter, Beavs down 10-7. Moore finds Pettis, 17-yard touchdown. OSU trailed by 10. Later, though, Oregon State musters a Justin Cahoot 41-yard field goal. That's true, makes it a 7-point game at 17-10. Cahoot 1 for 2 on the night, but Moore had plenty of time to air it out. Titus Young on the rollout finds him all by himself. 49-yard bomb as he goes in for the score, but take another look. Brandon Harden had a rough night with Titus Young, pushes him out of bounds, but he can come back in and catch that, and he does. 24-10, Boise at the half. To the third, James Rogers trying to throw the block on a Ryan Katz run, gets rocked with the helmet-to-helmet contact. Kind of a tough scene there. James would stay down, and he would leave the game with a concussion. That proved to be big. The Beavs weren't out of it, though. Middle of the third, Jaquiz Rogers caps off a 14-play drive with a 4-yard score, makes it 24-17. Quiz just 46 yards on 18 carries, but the Broncos come right back. More just too easy. 21 yards to Tyler Shoemaker, 31-17. But the Beavers once again answer. Katz scrambling and throwing off his back foot. Leaping and catching the ball is Daryl Catchings, but lets it come loose into the end zone. But Joe Halahuni, Joe on the spot, recovers it to make it 31-24 at the end of 3, but the Beavers never got much closer as Mike Riley and OSU goes down in Boise again. 37-24, Boise's win streak now 57 straight games in the regular season. The Broncos' third consecutive win over a Pac-10 school.
Yeah, and Kellen Moore, how good is he? Numbers basically double that of Ryan Katz. 235 and more, 288 passing came in that first half. Third down, again an issue for the Beavers as Boise State converted 9 of 14 attempts. Contrast that with Oregon State, just 3 of 13. The Beavs now 119th out of 120 in the country, failing on third down defensively more than 58% of the time. More in the Bronco offense kept filling up that stat sheet. Big play after big play. The Beavs outgained 469 to 237. Jordan Poyer could not keep up with Young. And then more eluding the pass rush from Brandon Harden, hooking up with Pettis for a 26-yard gain. And really, you said it, Tom, rough night for Harden. Gave up on that TD when he forced Young out. Then he got beat here, a Bronco first down at the 17.
Great catch with the one hand
Boise
there.
Boise State, number 3 in total defense. Katz felt that right in the back, but got the ball back. The Beavs have now allowed 8 sacks in 3 games. The secondary for the Broncos draped all over Joe Halahuni. This is a third down, denying that touchdown opportunity. Then Cahoot missed that one field goal from 25 yards away. Doug Martin was the beast in the second half, 119 yards in the second half. He had the ball 8 of the 9 plays in that final drive for Boise that drained the clock for 7 minutes. Flip side that with Quiz. Again, he didn't run for 100 yards. You know, that's not good news for the Beavers. A career low, just 46 on 18 carries.
Well, when you look at the game and you talk about Quiz Rogers having, in less than 50 yards, you talk about James Rogers, his only major contribution, a punt return. I mean, most people are going to look at that and say, yeah, Oregon State's not going to win this game, because when the Rogers brothers touch the ball and add up to over 60% of the Oregon State offense, they win the game. That didn't happen in this one.
We saw the same thing last year. You got to find other weapons. Is it going to be Catchings? Can we get Halahuni more involved in the offense? Maybe Marcus Wheaton can get to it more, but things certainly got to change real quick with the Pac-10 schedule bearing down.
And
now.
Oregon State also found out about Kellen Moore being one of the better play-action guys in college football and really putting his name now into that Heisman race. So the Ducks are now 4-0 for the first time since 2007, and ESPN's College Game Day will make its 5th trip to Autzen Stadium for Saturday's game against 4-0 Stanford. By the way, it's a 5 o'clock kick. Still to come on Inside the Pack, back to Tempe for more from a win that didn't have a lot of style points, but Oregon will take it.
And our guys kind of persevered. There were some self-inflicted wounds there in the first half, and we kept saying, get one more drive, put one more drive. Okay, one more drive. and the defense did a great job, getting some turnovers and causing some turnovers.
Plus, talk about running it down their throats. The Horns get hooked by the Bruins' ground game around the conference when Inside the Pack rolls on. If it wasn't for the Oregon defense stepping up to make several big plays Saturday night, the Ducks might not have gotten out of Tempe with the victory. For more on Oregon's win over Arizona State, here's Dirk Weishar.
Despite the Arizona State offense outgaining the Oregon offense 597 to 405 total yards, the Ducks pulled out the 42-31 victory thanks in part to the Oregon defense, which scored 2 touchdowns and took the ball away 7 times.
Anytime we can give our offense a chance to score, and that helps our team win. We had a lot of turnovers, but unfortunately, they got a lot of plays, they had a lot of explosion plays, but I feel we did a good job in the second half of correcting those and limiting them.
Sometimes they're going to make plays, sometimes we're going to make plays, and luckily coaches put us in a good situation, and we bounced back and made some plays.
It's competitive nature, just keep working. Never knew when the game over, we just have to keep on chopping at it, and we came out on top.
There's a lot of parity. The teams that win, and when this whole thing's all said and done, is can you win on the road in the Pac-10, and we're 1-0 in the league on the road, and that's big for us right now.
Though it seemed like he was bottled up all night long, LaMichael James did rush for 114 yards. He said afterwards, though, it felt like he rushed over 100 times. The Ducks now move to 4-0 on the season, and it sets up a big matchup next Saturday against the 4-0 Stanford Cardinal. Reporting from Sun Devil Stadium, I'm Dirk Weishar for Inside the Pack.
Thanks a lot, Dirk. Now, Keenan, with Stanford coming to Autzen, both the Ducks and Cardinal undefeated, ESPN's College Game Day will make its trip to Eugene. Now, a year ago, we saw Toby Gerhart run for a school record 223 yards and 3 scores. What do the Ducks have to do to avoid a repeat of that?
Well, I think it's going to come down to stopping the run, because if you can stop the run early against Stanford, it really shuts down their play-action game. And last year's game, that's what they did a lot of, running it with Toby Gerhart, pounding it, and then play-action pass. They were able to have a lot of success with that.
Yeah, we saw LaMichael James right there for Oregon, but Andrew Luck will have to shoulder more of the load, it appears, this year.
Oh, definitely. He's going to have to be asked a lot to do a lot, to make a lot more throws, and because the running game isn't as good as it was last year because of the lack of Toby Gerhart. So they're going to have to go out there and throw the ball a lot. But the thing is that Tennessee and Arizona State both showed that you can run the ball on the Ducks, and kind of a blueprint of how to slowly shut down the spread option that they've been running.
All right, well, so for the 5th time under Mike Riley, Oregon State must find a way to rally from a slow start to the season. The good news is that each of the previous 4 times OSU has gone on to a bowl game. Still to come on Inside, more from Boise as the Beavers found the task of keeping up with the Broncos, a tough one indeed.
They play very fast and they force you into a lot of, very tight windows, but I think that it's another great lesson about how hard it is to execute against good teams.
The Beavers knew it was going to be tough going. Oregon State's non-conference schedule was set up as one of the toughest in the nation. Saturday night's game at Boise was typical of the Beavs so far in 2010, who are still searching for an identity.
The whole game, we never thought we were going to lose, that's just our mindset. We never think we're going to lose, we're Beavers, we know we're going to play to the end, and that's what we did, we never gave up. We just didn't come back in time.
That's what good teams do. Great teams, top 5 teams, that's just the difference right now between us being, top 25 on the back end or being in that top 15 on the front end of that. It's just execution down the stretch, but we'll get better at that, I promise.
I'm hoping that this has been very good preparation for that. Obviously, we've lost 2 games, and that's not ever good, but I think that the level of competition is kind of the level of competition we'll see when we get in our conference, so should be good preparation for us.
Just about to wrap up this edition of Inside the Pack. More after the break. On Saturday, number 4 Oregon, number 9 Stanford, ESPN's Game Day. It doesn't get much bigger than this, does it, Keenan?
Definitely doesn't. A top 10 opponent. Got to come out with all the shots and hopefully win.
And the Beavers host Arizona State. We'll see you next week. Thanks to Keenan Howry for being here.